let's talk about thrusting elbow. I'm in a situation, let's say I'm on the inside of the clinch, maybe. Maybe I started to do an arm drag and it fails. So I grab their arm, they pull their arm away from me, and I'm in between their arms. This whole side of my head would be open in that case, and it would be very difficult for me to defend that. So I do a fail arm drag, they start to punch me, I can attack to take any oomph off of their hand. So if they're trying, if I'm hitting them while they're hitting me, they're not going to hit me as hard. And if I'm hitting down the middle, it's knocking them back, which also takes power off of their strike. So in a situation like that where I was grappling, I had the arm drag, I can just throw that. The other thing is, let's say I was grappling and somebody has got me kind of in a side position, like a body lock or bear hug, where they're hugging me from the side. But let's say their head is kind of in this area. Let's say I've got my frame against their neck, right? The frame doesn't really allow me to push too much, but if they start like kind of collapsing my arm, if I can put the point of my elbow in their neck, I can use that to push and create space. So let's say I ended up in a situation where like they threw a hook punch, I defended wrong and we're like here, and the next thing you know they're trying to grab me, I can push them away with that elbow, or if I have the space, I can just strike with it. Now this is not a hit with the back of the elbow, so if they're behind me, I'm not hitting here. That's a different type of elbow. This instead is with the point of the elbow, and I'm using my forward movement to thrust it forward into them. So in the form, we use this very simply like we do with the block, lops out, and we do a hammer fist, knife hand, hammer, knife. We discussed that in a different lesson. It's the exact same thing in the form, but we're throwing with the elbow. Now those are intended to be on the outside of the arm. The problem with throwing an elbow on the outside, so if I punch here and you try to throw an elbow from this side over, that's hard to do if I'm even a little bit taller than you. It's hard to do anyways, because I can easily use my shoulder to block in a way that isn't as effective against the knife hand and hammer fist. So those knife hand hammer fist works better on the outside of the arm. The thrusting elbow works better on the inside. So let's say somebody reaches behind my head to grab for like a collar tie, using like a double-handed block here, like an inside out, outside in, and following up with an elbow works very well. When we train this with each other, after we throw the elbow, we immediately set up in a soto gari. Because what happens when we hit the face, the head goes back, and what tends to happen is people will immediately try to push away. So when they get hit, they're pushing and they're extending that arm, which makes it very easy to grab that arm so that I can set up throws like shoulder throws or hip throws with the arm, which soto gari essentially. So thrusting elbow is from across, and it shoots in. In the form, we use it with a block and a strike. Generally, it's going to be off of a block, or it could be used, again, off of a frame into a push, which is more of a shove than a strike. So that's thrusting elbow.